Hi, this is Anthony Vandewerdt with another Actifio Tech Tip. So a question I got recently was around scripting. The question asking it was, I'm a junior scripter, I'm only just starting out and I'm creating some scripts using the RESTful API. And what I don't want to do is put my password in the clear in the script. How do I avoid doing this? So I want to show you a few techniques. I'm sure there's more than what I'll show you, but I want to show you a few techniques about how you can manage this.
So obviously solution number one to storing credentials in a script is just to put them in. Now, if I show you a really simple script here, and this really simple script simply starts a shell, defines some variables. So this is the IP address we're going to hit, which is my appliance, the user on the appliance, the password on the appliance in clear text. And then what the script does is it creates a session ID, and then it runs this command. So just to let you see the output of the command of the script. We're going to go and run it, and what it should do is run the ls version command and give us the version. Now, what you can clearly see is the password is here in clear text, which means if anyone can read this script, or if anyone is looking over my shoulder at this script, they can see what my password is. Really not a good look. So let's look at some solutions to this. Now, one solution is to use a thing called Base64 Encoding. Now, this is not a true solution, but does kind of solve one problem. So I'm going to show you an example of a script that uses it. And this is my script. Now, it's very similar to the previous one in that it defines an IP address, but instead of giving a username and password, I've got this blob of stuff here which no one could really look over your shoulder and remember, which is actually the username and password in Base64 encoding. And then what happens is when we create the session ID, we're going to call that to generate the session ID, and then we can run our command. So the outcome is exactly the same, but the nice thing here is that when I created the script and stored the password in the script, I didn't store it in a user-readable format. Now, the command to do it, so that's the actual Base64, but I'll show you the command to actually do it. So here we go, this is the command, and you can see it generates that. Now, this is what they call symmetrical encryption. So it means that if anyone can get this, they can decrypt it just as easily as I've encrypted it. However, it is certainly a layer better than clear text password, it's just not perfect. Now, and one addendum to using Base64 encoding is that we do, if you look on GitHub, you'll find we do have a Python package. And if you follow the documentation to here, it actually takes you to a different site. But what you'll find on a different site is that we do define a mechanism to save your password as a token. Now, the token, when it's saved, is still exactly the same as Base64. So it is a symmetrical encryption, but it does at least allow you to store the password in a way that is not shoulder surfable. So another solution to saving a password is to use a tool like Inkpass, which you can find on GitHub. So what Inkpass does is, well, I'll leave you to explore, but it basically saves the password in a very hidden file. So let me give you a demonstration of that. So I've got a file here called use Inkpass, very similar to the other ones that I've shown you. But what it's going to do is I've got Inkpass in an executable location, so it's going to load it, and then it's going to use this thing called get secret, which will associate a secret password in a hidden file to this particular script. So when I run the script, now the very first time I run it, it's actually going to prompt me for a password. So remember, that's my bad password. So I need to put that in and confirm it. And then once I've done that, it's actually going to run the script, and you can see that it ran. So if I do that again, the second time it runs, it doesn't prompt me for the password, so it does it only the first time. So you can see another very simple solution. So the next option is to use the password encryption methodologies that we've already included in our PowerShell module, ActPower CLI. So if you're familiar with our PowerShell module, if you go to github.com/actifio/PowerShell, have a look in the README. In step 8, there are 3 different commands you can run to save your password. This one down the bottom here is my favorite one. So I'm just going to copy that. And then I'm going to go here to PowerShell, and I'm going to run that in. So remember my password, BADPASSW0RD. So I've saved my password. So now I'm ready to run my connect act command, which is what I use to connect, logging in as AV test. And what I'm going to do is follow the suggestions here, which is to use -password file. Just type it in, password file, and I'm going to direct it to this file name. And we're going to hit enter and see what happens. Bang, I'm straight in. So UDS info ls version, remember that was a command we were running in the other scripts, and it works. So the beautiful thing here is that I've now got this saved password file I can call in my scripts. No one can shoulder surf me, no one can read that file, it's an encrypted file, and only I, as a user, can call it. Another Windows user, if they get that file, can't actually run it because Windows enforces that. So some really good security mechanisms built in there. So here we see a Jenkins example. Now, Jenkins is one choice, there are many choices, but look, this is a very simple demonstration. If I choose a Jenkins build and I go configure, what we can see is within this build, we have defined a couple of variables. One is the act user, so there's the name of the user, and the other is act pass, and it's obviously concealed, so that's the password, and there's the, in this case, we've got act IP, so the IP address of the appliance we're going to fire this build at. And the build, if we go down to here, we can see it calls the user, the pass, and the IP address to run some PowerShell. The point being that in here, the password is hidden and it is being properly managed by this application, in this example, Jenkins.
So hopefully that was useful to you. You can see there are a few choices there. There are plenty of other applications that can help you save passwords. So go out and explore, and if you've got some great suggestions, please drop me a comment.